Good afternoon, or good evening, I should say, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much. We have a lot to talk about, and let's just get right into it. The Mueller probe relies on people getting indicted for nothing to do with anything Trump is accused to have committed. This 2 years of nonsensical, just absurd conjecture. All of this surrounds what people around President Trump could have done possibly, because as we know, the emails were a Russian plot to hurt poor Hillary Clinton. Why? Because they exposed the fact that Bernie Sanders was cheated. So Bernie Sanders was actually cheated, ladies and gentlemen. You might not have known that because apparently it was a Russian plot. So isn't it interesting? This is like the McCarthy era all over again. And Democrats are leading this new McCarthy era. Isn't it interesting that everything that hurts the Democratic Party is a Russian plot? Every single thing. The Russians are even hurting the Mueller probe. They're stealing Discovery information. We heard that just now. How is it that the Democratic Party presides over the sale of 20% of U.S. uranium capacity to Vladimir Putin, which is a fact? No one is supposed to talk about that. No one is supposed to talk about the fact that cash flowed to Clinton Foundation amid Russian uranium deal. Let's just look really quickly. New York Times. Before we get into Roger Stone and Jerome Corsi basically backstabbing Roger Stone and betraying Roger Stone, before we get into that, cash flow to Clinton Foundation amid Russian uranium deal. This is Joe Becker and Mike McIntyre, November 3rd, 2015. Is that just a coincidence? We're supposed to care more about Roger Stone and what he said and what Corsi said and what somebody said and this and emails that actually showed Democrats cheating one of their own candidates. We're supposed to care more about that. What happened during an election, which Democrats actually cheated, then they blamed Russia for cheating them. We're supposed to care more about that than cash flow to Clinton Foundation amid Russian uranium deal. Where's the fantasy here? This is New York Times. This is the actual New York Times. Subscribe now for $1 a week. Not. No thanks. The headline on the website, Pravda trumpeted President Vladimir Putin's latest coup. Its nationalistic fervor, recalling an era when its precursor served as the official mouthpiece for the Kremlin. Russian nuclear energy conquers the world. Wait a second, they're happy about this? I thought this is one that wasn't that big of a deal. As the Russians gradually assumed control of Uranium 1 in 3 separate transactions from 2009 to 2013, Canadian records show a flow of cash made its way to the Clinton Foundation. Oh, just a coincidence. Just a coinky. Don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. If you bring it up, it's already been debunked by Snopes. Well, what has been? Uranium One's chairman used his family donation to make 4 donations totaling $2.35 million. You can't prove anything. And shortly after the Russians announced their intention to acquire a majority stake in Uranium One, Mr. Clinton received a $500,000 for a Moscow speech from a Russian investment bank with links to the Kremlin that was promoting Uranium One stock. You can't prove anything. It was just a coincidence. Well, what about the yellow cake uranium that shipped out of the country? What? Here, yellow cake. Yellow cake was from his property in Utah, was routinely packed into drums and trucked off to a processing plant in Canada. I thought, how is this possible? Noted that despite the Nuclear Regulatory Commission that uranium could not leave the country without Uranium One or Rosatom obtaining an export license, which they do not have, they ended up using the export licenses of shipping companies. RSB Logistics Services has the license. Oh my God. How is that possible? So you have all of this, and then you have whistleblowers, then you have all this information. But how is this possible, ladies and gentlemen? Oh my God. How is this possible? How on earth is this possible? And you have, but we're not supposed to care about this, by the way. And then, well, let's just look at this right here. That was the New York Times, Newsweek. Bill Clinton met Vladimir Putin after asking to meet top nuclear industry officials. Well, does this have anything to do with money flowing into the Clinton Foundation? No, you have no proof. You have no proof. Don't talk about it. You can't talk about it. It's not fair. You have no proof at all. No proof. Don't bring up. It's all about what Jerome Corsi said. What could have taken place with WikiLeaks and Roger Stone. Just focus on that. Because Snopes, debunk, Snopes. Russian uranium investigation. Bill Clinton met Putin after asking to meet top nuclear industry officials. Do we have a transcript of that meeting? No. Notice how you're like, oh, there's no transcript between. People are like, oh, there's no transcript. There's no transcript between Putin and Trump. By the way, to my super chat, thank you so very much. You do give me every incentive to continue rocking these live streams. Oh my gosh. And then you have Jerome Corsi. We'll get to him in a second, but when planning a trip to Moscow for a speaking engagement in June 2010, oh wow, that's just right when the uranium sale was going down. Former President Bill Clinton, well, that's just a coincidence also. Clinton reportedly tried to meet with an official who was part of a Russian state company seeking approval to purchase a uranium company with holdings in the United States. Instead, Clinton ended up meeting Vladimir Putin. Wow. Isn't that interesting? That must have been yet another coincidence. The company had mines in the United States. What? And if the deal went through, Russia would gain control of 20% of U.S. uranium. What? This is in Newsweek? Debunked, Snopes, debunked. That's all you hear. Well, why can't we connect the dots regarding this? You mean that she opposed the Magnitsky Act, Hillary Clinton, just by accident also? That she was on the Committee on Foreign Investment and nobody cared? But we're supposed to worry about Jerome Corsi, what he says? And by the way, you have a situation now where Jerome Corsi is betraying. Isn't that interesting? Well, funny how that works, ladies and gentlemen. All the wonderful white hats. You ever hear this ridiculous, absurd expression, ludicrous, the white hats? Oh, the white hats. There are no white hats. There are no heroes in government. It's a struggle for power at the top, and Trump is actually winning slowly but surely. So, check out my latest upload. Here, Jerome Corsi betrays Roger Stone in Mueller probe by promoting Democratic Party talking points. Because he did. Ever wonder? Here's the upload. Ever wonder why all the wonderful people who think that Martians are speaking from MySpace and there's going to be Gitmo and oh my God, you just wait and trust Sessions? Ever wonder who helped further this? Jerome Corsi. Unfortunately, Dr. Corsi has already said a couple of things about me that are demonstrably not true. Roger Stone said. Why is Roger Stone saying that Jerome Corsi is saying things that are demonstrably not true? Stone denied that Corsi ever told him that Podesta's emails were stolen. That's so ridiculous. What would it matter if... Okay, so part of the fantasy that Mueller is trying to perpetuate is that that Corsi told Stone they were stolen emails. Well, technically, a whistleblower would steal emails. Yes, technically. That's ridiculous. But the fact that the DNC didn't publish them themselves kind of alludes to the possibility that it was stolen. It doesn't matter. He never told me that, Stone said. Maybe he can tell us who else he told. Stone also denied Corsi's claim that the Trump campaign used WikiLeaks to distract from the damaging Access Hollywood tape. Oh, so the Access Hollywood tape, no problem. But emails showing actual criminal behavior, that's a big problem. In which Trump boasted about, no, it wasn't. He actually didn't. Whatever. I'm not going to get into that. What they do is they latch on and they focus on to whatever it is, how like they manipulate words, or they foment outrage. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton referred to black youth as super predators, and that's okay to the Democratic Party. And then they claim to be against supremacy, race, all that stuff. Corsi also said, I knew about the Billy Bush NBC tape in advance, and I directed him to contact Julian Assange and tell him to move up or change the dump to data to distract that. That's ridiculous. This, unfortunately for Dr. Corsi, I have text messages and emails and metadata that show he's not telling the truth. So isn't that interesting? How all the wonderful people, and when I exposed the whole Q nonsense, like 1,000 people, literally almost 1,000 people unsubbed from me. And I got all over 1,000 back, by the way, within 3 to 4 weeks. And I knew that would happen. Because people could not stand the truth because they want to believe. But look who is telling you to believe, Jerome Corsi. He was pushing that nonsense also. And guess what happened to Jerome Corsi? He is now a turncoat. He is now literally doing things that hurt Roger Stone. Corsi also said that he knew about the Billy Bush tape and that the emails that he that he should contact Julian Assange to move the leak or the dump to a different time. That's ridiculous. Unfortunately for Dr. Corsi, I have text messages and emails and metadata that show he's not telling the truth. Unfortunately, Dr. Corsi has also said a couple of things about me that are demonstrably not true. So Mueller is, awake Canadian! Awake Canadian, thank you! It's like Stone and Corsi are colluding to simply amplify the public. They are publicity hounds after all, but I love Stone's heroic stand. Yeah. Some of this is self-induced with Roger Stone. Absolutely, awake Canadian. But why is Jerome Corsi backstabbing him? I mean, you have Jerome Corsi who's basically throwing Roger Stone under the bus, which hurts Trump, which helps all the swamp and deep state and all that stuff Jerome Corsi was supposed to be against. I thought Jerome Corsi was supposed to be against the deep state. Why is he embracing Mueller's derriere? Why is that happening? Huh? His book is killing the deep state, The Fight to Save President Trump, and he's a turncoat in like less than what, a month, 2 months? No, actually, like the moment Roger Stone's indicted 3 days ago, now the Washington Post, the deep state, all this stuff. So it's like the guy he perpetuated a whole bunch of nonsense, and now he's part of the same deep state. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And he was pushing the same QAnon nonsense. And now look, he's literally working with Mueller. Literally working with Mueller. Not kind of, like actually trying to submarine and sabotage Roger Stone. Actually trying to hurt Roger Stone. Turned on Roger Stone so fast. And he didn't. And the thing is, like, it's not like, by the way, like, almost certainly Mueller, let's say he like tried to turn on Roger Stone because Mueller said in private proceedings, hey, you know, what do you think Stone said? Da, da. He doesn't have to be on MSNBC perpetuating nonsense. Why isn't Roger Stone talking about CrowdStrike? Why isn't Roger Stone talking about all the intelligence agents who speak through 8chan? I thought that he was promoting a QAnon. You see how it works, ladies and gentlemen. You have gullible people on the left and gullible people on the right. The gullible people on the left, unfortunately, have the media, the Democratic Party, everything to their advantage. Luke St. Martin, thank you. Luke St. Martin, thank you. And Eric H526, both of you. And AC Yor and a bunch of other people for being great moderators. Thank you. It doesn't matter. There is no turning on cue. You perpetuate it for a reason. I get that. Maybe he's realized it was nonsense, but like you it has to be nonsense. You perpetuate it for a reason. I don't even know when he turned on or whatever, but the point is, Jerome Corsi. This is an example. Jerome Corsi is a guy who his whole thing is fighting the deep state and the swamp, and he is now literally part of the swamp. Literally part of the swamp. And I mean, a lot of this is self-induced on both ends of the spectrum. Both of them were lying about their. WikiLeaks has consistently stated they have nothing to do with Roger Stone or Jerome Corsi. And WikiLeaks has let's look, how many documents WikiLeaks released? Okay, let's see. 92,000 documents. Hold on one second. Let's see. Oh, that's just 92,000 regarding the war logs. How many total? Let's just see how many total documents has WikiLeaks released. Let's see. I should know this. I view Julian Assange and WikiLeaks to be, well, Julian Assange I view to be a hero. I wrote in the Times of Israel that he is a tzaddik. He is a noble person. Okay, okay. How many different publications, let's just say hundreds and hundreds of thousands since 2007. Hundreds of thousands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 9, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. 65 major releases. Hundreds and thousands hundreds and thousands of. And by the way, the Economist New Media Award they won in 2008. Time Magazine Person of the Year 2010, Julian Assange. So hundreds and thousands of documents they did not need. Why on earth would they need Stone? Why on earth would they need Stone? Can anyone answer that? Why on earth would they need Roger Stone? Why on earth would they need Jerome Corsi? It's absurd. It is absurd. Why would you need? And Trump allies Roger Stone shouldn't underestimate Mueller. Jerome Corsi warns he won't be able to dodge the evidence. There is no evidence. There is no evidence. Are you kidding me? There is no evidence. What? It's interesting. Like, why would Jerome Corsi need to fabricate or perpetuate the notion that Stone spoke to him about WikiLeaks? Even if it took place, who cares? You're getting into a he said, she said. You're getting into conjecture and gossip. So now either one of them could then be indicted for lying in some manner because the other one says, well, no, that's not true. That's not true. Meanwhile, you have, and hopefully we have next week, we have William Barr. Meanwhile, you have an actual attorney general. I mean, Jeff Sessions was an absolute abomination. I mean, you have all of these people who it's just unbelievable. There's no speaking about WikiLeaks, excuse me, is not a crime. They're criminalizing the most mundane things. The indictment accuses Stone of working with WikiLeaks, referred to as Organization 1. Yeah, the beginning. You want to know what the beginning of the Stone indictment reads? Let's look at the beginning of the Stone indictment reads. And if Corsi was so interested in draining the swamp like he made his career out to be, why doesn't he talk about CrowdStrike? Okay. Because he doesn't believe the nonsense he was spewing, obviously. Or he just wants to betray Roger Stone and also Trump in an attempt just not to get in trouble or not to ingratiate himself with Mueller. The indictment begins with the admission that there is no government evidence. This is the admission here. So this is the United States District Court for the District of Columbia, United States of America versus Roger Jason Stone Jr. The grand jury for the District of Columbia charges by in or around introduction. The introduction proves, this is like, just to let you know, by the way, hardly anyone is talking about this. Of course, you have Tom Fitton, obviously. He's amazing. And other people, so there's certain other people, John Solomon, Paul Sperry, fine. Kimberly Strassel, Dan Bongino, Sarah Carter. Okay. But nobody is saying, like, very few, 99.9% of people are not they don't know about this. By in or around May 2016, the Democratic National Committee, DNC, and the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee became aware that their computer systems had been compromised by unauthorized intrusions. And what did they do? And hired a security company, Company One, to identify the extent of the intrusions. Are you kidding me? On or about June 14, 2016, the DNC, through Company One, publicly announced that it had been hacked by Russian government actors. Why should I believe Company One, CrowdStrike? Why should anyone believe Company One? Do they have ties to the Democratic Party? Yes. Do they have ties to Hillary Clinton? Yes. How do we know? Because the DNC outsourced them and paid money. She funneled money. All that money that was stolen from Bernie voters, which is the essence of the whole fabricated fantasy. all of this fantasy stems from money stolen from Bernie Sanders voters. That's why when Kamala Harris or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or anyone says, oh, well, we're going to implement Medicare for all, where's the bill? Where's the legislation that Kamala Harris is pushing? She's been in the Senate a while now. You know, Medicare for all is supposed to save lives, but, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. When I was on RT and I said Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on Crosstalk with Peter Lavelle, and I said Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez hasn't written any legislation, people said, oh, she's only been there for 3 weeks. Dummy, AJ. Oh, my God. She's only been there for 3 weeks. So, okay, which one is it? Life and death? Is it a life and death situation? Or 3 weeks is too long for a life and death situation? Are you kidding? If the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said the 12 years from now the world will end. Okay, so what? So that doesn't mean that within 3 weeks you should draft legislation. You should work day and night. There's no time. There's no urgency, sense of urgency. So the lofty, alarmist rhetoric, the morally superior hyperbole and rhetoric, oh, that doesn't correlate to actual actions, does it? We already have media pundits that spend about a year and a half, numerous ones pushing Medicare for all, numerous ones. Okay, there's already been a conversation about it. You don't have to further the conversation at all. Then people say, oh, well, well, she's furthering the conversation. It's already been furthered. It's already been furthered. Bernie talked about it in 2016, although he talked about other things too. Where is this sense of urgency? So I thought, it's just so interesting. It's like you have so many people who claim, and honestly, Roger Stone is actually living up to his part of his persona. A lot of it is self-induced. Okay, Julian Assange and WikiLeaks never, ever, ever needed or utilized Roger Stone at all. They never needed him at all. It's complete and utter nonsense and rubbish. If anyone should be sent to Congress to testify or part of the Mueller probe, it should be the guy Jack from Twitter. Without Twitter, people mainly used Twitter to look at the Podesta and DNC emails. What they've done is inoculate, and they've protected, inoculated. They've wrapped up in a cocoon of deliberate disinformation. The crimes that Clinton, whether it's using her email server, Trump Jr. wanted dirt. There's nothing illegal about that, by the way. Stone and Corsi were talking about their interactions with WikiLeaks. Zero evidence. So zero evidence. And by the way, why doesn't Mueller interview Julian Assange? Ever wonder why? Ever wonder why Mueller doesn't interview Julian Assange or Professor Mifsud, the guy who was supposed to meet with Papadopoulos, or Alexander Dumbo Downer, who is in Australia? The two people who influenced the election in the most absurd manner are the two imbeciles, one in Australia and one in the UK. Imbecile number one, Christopher Steele, and imbecile number two, who knows who's the bigger phony, is Alexander, Dumbo Downer, the Australian ambassador. Are you kidding me? We have been, the idiocracy is not Trump. It's actually the liberal media that thinks they're so intelligent by believing the actual conspiracy theories. This is ridiculous nonsense. Alexander Dumbo Downer. Why didn't Mueller interview him? Ever wonder why Mueller hasn't interviewed people? Like, if WikiLeaks is supposed to be so integral to all of this, why not interview Julian Assange? And you have CrowdStrike. Why not interview CrowdStrike? Where is this? Where is this nonsense? Where is the CrowdStrike testimony? They're not. It's interesting. Where's the testimony on DNC servers? Comey, DNC denied FBI's request for access to hacked server because they had something to hide. Of course. DNC hack. This is Wired. How CrowdStrike found proof. Why would you trust a company that found proof of anything? It's a company. It's a company that has nothing to do with the U.S. government. Our taxes do not go to CrowdStrike. So why would you trust a company that was outsourced by Hillary Clinton? Why didn't they just ask Trump? Why not Trump strike? D. Velasquez. John Durham, U.S. Attorney, Connecticut, is investigating FBI leaks. Google Jim Jordan, House letter to Durham. Look at Durham's resume. Jim Jordan. Okay, D. Velasquez. D. Velasquez. Thank you so much. Jim Jordan. Durham. Jim Jordan. Okay, so John Durham. Republicans request update on investigation into ex-FBI official accused of leaks. 2 Republican lawmakers, okay, this was January 2019, requested an update on Department of Justice investigation into James Baker. I mean, what they've done to the Levin during the interview said that John Durham, U.S. Attorney for Connecticut, was the prosecutor assigned to the Baker case, according to transcript during off the class. I'm sorry, I'm going to let Baker answer these questions right now. Levin told. Okay, so let's see, John Durham. Best known for leading an inquiry into allegations, FBI agents, and Boston police ties. Okay, so February 22nd, 2018, John H. Durham sworn in as United States Attorney. Nominated by President Trump. Oh, wow. So, yeah, he has a pretty good resume. Very good resume. George Soros, thank you. Barr is going to be worse than Sessions. Well, nothing could be worse than Sessions, so that's impossible. Sessions, let's put it this way. You can't get worse than Sessions. Barr at least is not recusing himself, so he has the possibility of firing Mueller. And the Senate Judiciary is already investigating Clinton emails. So once Barr comes in, Trump could declassify. He can do a whole lot of things. Sessions would block everything. Rosenstein's leaving. Once Rosenstein leaves, it's game on. Animal 31458, thank you. Thank you. So you have so much nonsense, and it's like everything, like my channel, my voice, it's not like fascinating. It's not like, ooh, super duper Martians from Jupiter are speaking through MySpace and America Online through me, H.A. Goodman. And the white hats and the different color hats are speaking through me. And it's so awesome. And if you just believe, Gitmo will be filled with Hillary Clinton supporters. Yes, believe, trust sessions. Patriots, let me quote Bible verses. As you can see here, and then this, and then that, and then this was meant this. Wow, so intriguing. It's amazing. Wow. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. The opposite of everything. The opposite of everything. Now Jerome Corsi is like, yeah, well, you know what? Stone did this. It's like, no. Thank you, Ramla Farah. Thank you. Thank you, Ramla. Thank you. Thank you, Ramla. Larry, trust the flan. Oh, my God. I'm on a diet right now. I can't have flan. Can't have flan. Flan is good. But ladies and gentlemen, you have this ridiculous, absurd nonsense. See, Breezy. Dan, thank you. And all you have also, like, if you just read the indictment, why on earth is the United States trusting CrowdStrike? When has there ever been? Where has there ever been? When has there ever been an investigation, a United States investigation where the key evidence was purchased by a political party? Does that make any sense at all? Does that make any sense at all? Motherboard Vice. This Trump stupid, where's the DNC server conspiracy theory? Oh, it's Vice is going into it. Trump refuses to believe all the evidence. Where's the evidence? Vice, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? It is widely believed that CrowdStrike, a cybersecurity firm hired by DNC to respond to the hack, gave an identical image of some of the servers to the FBI. It is widely believed that the firm hired by the Democrats, it widely believed that the firm hired by the Democrats, Vice, A2, what a millennial, like, you know, it's widely believed. No, President Trump is so dumb. Here he goes again. President Trump. President Trump again, everyone. You see what he's doing? Do you see what he's doing? It's all the evidence. Well, where's the evidence? It is widely believed that CrowdStrike, a cybersecurity firm hired by the DNC, Stop there. There are great writers at Vice. There are great journalists at Vice. Where are they, though? I say widely believed because we don't know exactly what CrowdStrike gave to the FBI. This is actually a beautiful article. So this is actually, I give a lot of respect to the writing, but then the author is a great writer, and he's obviously a very good journalist. I don't know how he comes to the conclusion of his title. This is actually bolsters everything I've been saying. So kudos to Vice. Actually, Vice is a lot better than BuzzFeed, like a million times better. But so this is a very great article. It's actually one of the best things ever written. It is widely believed that CrowdStrike, a cybersecurity firm hired by the DNC to respond to the DNC hack, gave an identical image of some of the servers to the FBI, which experts I've spoken to say are more useful than giving the FBI physical server itself. No, it's not. I don't care what any expert says. It's not. You can the FBI could then take. It's like saying, well, you know what? I'm a criminal defense lawyer. I can give you. I have the safe, and I'll give you copies of the fingerprints from the safe that I have that my client allegedly broke into. Why would that? I say widely believe because we don't know exactly what CrowdStrike gave to the FBI. Well, then how on earth is this? How on earth can Vice or anyone say that Trump is perpetuating a conspiracy theory? The conspiracy theory is actually that CrowdStrike had the nation's best interest. They weren't paid by taxpayer money. They were paid by the Democratic Party. However, in March 2017, former FBI director told Comey the FBI got an appropriate substitute. Well, why should we an appropriate substitute from CrowdStrike? Comey hates Trump. And Mueller indictments makes clear that the FBI has lots of information about the hack from both within the DNC. No, they don't. And from sort of CrowdStrike decline a request. Of course they did. They don't have anything. The NSA is moderately confident still. This entire nonsensical, by the way, Jerome Corsi is furthering all of this nonsense. It's complete nonsense. Complete and utter nonsense. Meanwhile, Jerome Corsi is saying, oh, yeah, you know, Stone said this and Stone said that and Stone said this and Stone said that. And oh, my God, Stone said this. And it's just nonsense. And you throw Roger Stone under the bus. You just throw him under the bus. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to my super chat. Thank you so very much. I'll be back a little later on tonight. Check out my upload prior to this one. Check out HA Second Amendment. And this Vice article is a fantastic article. Trump's stupid, where is the DNC server theory explained? Yeah, they actually vindicate Trump. So, like, why would you trust? Why didn't they ask a Republican? Oh, well, that would be a conflict of interest. A Democratic tech firm, that's a good thing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Definitely subscribe to HA Second Amendment. The links are below. And watch my RT Crosstalk segment. I will be back. Thank you so very much. Tell everyone about this channel. We are growing. Let's get to 140,000 subs very soon. Thank you.